probably the last time I'll ever watch that film. Not that it's bad, I just don't have any desire to ever revisit that story. Next movie is one that I would not recommend checking out at all. Hey everybody, today's video brings us back down into the library because it's time for a video I've been promising you guys. February reviews. Yeah, I am over a month late with this video, so I apologize for that. Many of you have been asking where this video is. It's here. We're finally going to do it. The pile actually isn't that large, and I was thinking about why that could possibly be, and then I remembered I was in Florida for about a week and a half during the month of February, and of course there was preparation leading up to the trip itself, and then just getting resituated back with life after the trip, and as such, I didn't do a ton of movie watching in February, but I did watch some cool stuff, so let's see what it is I checked out, and I'll give you my very quick thoughts on each one of the movies, if I can remember that far back. So, first movie is one I was so excited to finally be checking out, and that is 4D Man. This is a movie directed by Shorty Yeworth, who's the same director as one of my all-time favorite sci-fi movies, The Blob. Oh my gosh. So, of course, growing up with The Blob and going to Blob Fest and being a guest out there for like the last 3 years, I mean, I've heard of this movie so much. Everybody always talks about all the other kind of, like the Blob brother and sister movies, and 4D Man is one of those. I mean, it has nothing to do with The Blob, but again, another Shorty Yeworth movie. This movie was actually made with money from The Blob. This is a great film of this guy who can basically walk through walls. They're trying to basically figure out this experiment on how you could pass like solid objects through each other, and then, of course, things don't go so well, and one of our main characters here can now walk through walls, and it kind of screws with him, and he starts doing some bad things and going kind of crazy, and it's a lot of fun. This is a great sci-fi movie. I highly recommend this one. If you're just into, like, what is this, 1960? No, 1959. If you're into 1958 was Blob, that makes sense. If you're into 1950s sci-fi, this is one to check out. 4D Man was fantastic. I cannot recommend this movie enough. It is a really good watch. I'm so happy I finally checked this out. Next movie up was Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot. This was okay. I wasn't blown away by this. Going into it, and I'm judging this on the trailers, I was expecting kind of a like Coen brother, witty comedy type. Witty comedy, that's not good. Witty comedy type movie, and that's not what you got. This is more of a drama, based on a true story of this guy who definitely had his problem with some drinking, and ended up getting in a nice big car accident. He's in a wheelchair, and he's not dealing with it too well, and him kind of coming to terms with the whole situation and who he used to be, and, the fact that he's not changing as much as he probably should be, and the craziness that is involved with that. But like I said, it's based on a true story, so I was expecting something different, but it was still an interesting story. I mean, this guy kind of turns his life around. He does these drawings, which are very controversial. A lot of people don't like them. Some people love them. Get some hate for it. But again, very interesting story. I would say this is one of those movies that's like worth a watch. Definitely worth you picking up. I mean, if you find it for cheap, sure, grab it, give it a watch. Maybe you'll like it. But at the very least, give it a rent. It is worth seeing. I just don't know if I'd say it's worth watching. I mean, worth owning. I don't see myself watching that movie repeatedly. In fact, that's probably the last time I'll ever watch that film. Not that it's bad, I just don't have any desire to ever revisit that story. Next movie is one that I would not recommend checking out at all. Yoga Hosers. Oh my gosh, I was so excited when I found a copy of this on Blu-ray for $5 at FYE, because I loved Tusk. Tusk is such a great Kevin Smith movie. It is weird but in a fun kind of way. A movie about this crazy guy who turns this kid into a human walrus. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, and it is, but it's so much fun. I cannot recommend that movie enough. Again, it's weird, but it's a fun weird. This is just weird. Like, Kevin Smith went a whole different way with this movie. It takes place in the same world. It's part of a trilogy. I guess there's a third movie going to come out eventually. So yeah, it stars his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter. I mean, they're good in the movie. I don't have anything wrong with them. I just didn't care for the story very much about the Nazi bratwurst, the Knotswurst, whatever they're called. Weird and just bizarre, and it just I don't know. Tusk was weird, but in like a fun sort of like twisted horror movie kind of way, which made it a fun like dark comedy. This is just kind of goofy for the sake of being goofy, I felt. And because of that, I just didn't enjoy it very much. The story was kind of mediocre. Like I said, goofy for the sake of being goofy. And in the end, I didn't like it. It's a very different movie than Tusk. If you're a fan of Tusk, don't go in this one expecting Tusk 2. Go into this expecting a whole different type of movie that just takes place in that same world. So, I wouldn't recommend this one. I was very disappointed. Not what I was hoping for. Maybe the third movie will be more Tusk-esque. I hope. We'll see. Or maybe it'll be completely different. I don't know. Those two movies were different. Then I wanted to revisit The Martian, which I actually haven't watched in the extended edition. I had only ever seen the theatrical cut. So finally watching it in 4K, which by the way looks amazing. This movie looks fantastic in 4K. And watching the extended cut. And this is one I could watch over and over and over again, about an astronaut on Mars getting stranded there. They're doing their exploration. Big storm. They think he's dead. They take off. They get out of there before the storm hits them, and the whole crew dies. Turns out Matt Damon here didn't die. He still survived, and now he has to survive on Mars for a long time, when really they're only meant to be there for a short amount of time. So how is he going to extend his rations, and can he make food, and can he make water? Like, what's he going to do to survive? And it's pretty awesome to watch him try to do what he has to do to survive. Then of course the ending, which I won't give away if you haven't seen this one, but it is a great movie. I cannot recommend this one enough. Again, second time watching it, and I'm sure I'll be talking about this movie again in years to come. I will watch this a third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th time. This movie's awesome. It's such a good film. That one is definitely fantastic. Then a movie that I think I've actually seen before, Killing Zoe. Went into this one thinking, I've never seen this movie, and then as I'm watching, I'm going, I think at some point in my life, I've actually seen this film. It's a good, 90s, right? It has that, 94. It has that very, mid-90s Quentin Tarantino, Generation X kind of feel about some dudes holding up a bank, and the craziness that goes on with that. Doesn't quite go as planned, unfortunately, but it's a fun movie. I actually recommend this one. I don't know what more to say about it. Well, here we go. From the creators of Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. So, I guess that kind of gives you an idea of the sort of feel, written by, Roger Avery? All right, so if you're into that, Generation X, mid-90s, Quentin Tarantino style film, I wouldn't compare this with Quentin Tarantino, but, kind of has that Generation X sort of feel, like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, Natural Born Killers, stuff like that. If you're into those kind of movies, you're probably going to get a kick out of this one. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I about 20 minutes into the movie, I was like, yeah, I've seen this before, but I still kept watching because, I started it. Why would I stop a movie I've already started? But also, I was just enjoying it, even though I'm pretty sure I've already seen it. So Killing Zoe, good movie. Nothing to write home about, but fun sort of, Generation X kind of movie. I liked it. This one is one to write home about. Tombstone, the director's cut. Not my first time watching this movie, or this cut of the movie. I have seen this movie so many times, And man, does it still hold up. What year is this from? Doesn't say, does it? This one doesn't say. 1990 something, right? I don't know. But anyway, it still completely holds up to this day. This movie is such a great story about just a classic Western, about classic cowboys. Names, we all know. People like, there's actually, Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday. I mean, all these classic cowboys that we grew up, hearing about, and this is their story, Hollywood embellishments, of course, but still a great story. The acting is fantastic. The casting is fantastic. Everybody in this movie is cast perfectly. I mean, they're all so great in their roles. This is another one of those movies that I could just watch over and over again. If you were a fan of Westerns, everything from, modern day to old classic, 1950s and whatnot Westerns, this is one to check out. You're not going to be disappointed. It is so much fun. But then again, if you're a fan of Westerns and you haven't seen Tombstone yet, I wouldn't be able to comprehend that. So if you haven't seen Tombstone yet, oh my gosh, such a great movie. Again, to this day, still holds up. This will be one, again, you'll be hearing me talk about again. Then I wanted to watch This is Spinal Tap. I was re-listening to my biography of Billy Crystal, and he was talking about his little bit part in this movie, and it got me thinking about the film and how I haven't watched it in a while, so wanted to rewatch this one. It's great. Very funny movie. It's about the loudest rock band ever, loudest rock band in England or whatever, and just the hilarity of them just, not succeeding so well. All the mishaps on tour and shows getting canceled and albums not doing well. I mean, there were this big band and very quickly they just fell, and it's fun to watch it. It's a very funny comedy that's meant to be done in the style of a documentary. Again, I'm sure we've all seen Spinal Tap, but if you haven't, think like Christopher Guest type style movie. And I mean, it's so much fun. Spinal Tap is a great watch. Yeah, written by, that's what I thought. I was like, wait, didn't Christopher Guest have something to do with this? Yeah, he actually, he's in it, but I knew he had something more to do with that. He actually co-wrote it as well, directed by Rob Reiner. But yeah, so it has that Christopher Guest feel. I have a feeling he probably did a lot of the writing on here, because if you've seen, if you've seen his other films, this has that feel. So I think he had either he had a big influence on this movie, or this movie had a big influence on his future movies. Anyway, watch it. Awesome. Then documentary here with the American Experience, The Donner Party. And it's just about that, the Donner Party, and how things didn't go quite well for them. Man, I can't imagine, traveling out west back in the day, by covered wagon and going through all that craziness. I feel definitely bad for the party, because they were doing pretty well. I mean, they were having some mishaps. Things weren't going perfectly for them, but had they continued on their trail, they probably would have been good. But there was a trail that was supposed to be quicker and better, but apparently the guy who designed this trail never actually tested the trail. He just said, yeah, this way's better. And they thought, okay, it's quicker. The winter's coming. We're behind a little bit. Let's go this new route. And they got stuck in the mountains, of course. So I think we all know the story, and they unfortunately had to start eating each other. A lot of people died. Surprisingly, more people survived than I thought, but still, a lot of people did die. And there was definitely some cannibalism going on, unfortunately. But interesting documentary if you want to really learn about the Donner Party and just what they went through and how they got into the situation they got into. Great documentary. Then one everybody was talking about, Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, this was a really good movie. Now, from what I'm told, there's a lot of Hollywood embellishment in this. Apparently, the story is kind of just based on reality. It's not the true, defining story of Queen. Apparently, it's the story of Queen with a bunch of embellishments, from what I'm told. But still, it was a great story. I mean, I didn't realize that Freddie Mercury was kind of the way he was. I looked into it after I watched this, and yeah, apparently, the band actually did have a falling out, and he was kind of a jerk at times. But it was a great story on just the beginning of Queen and their big huge rise to fame, and of course the fantastic Live Aid performance at the end. Great way to end the movie too with that big performance. I loved this movie. It was really, really good, deserving of all the awards it won. Yeah, it was definitely a great film. This is one I would definitely rewatch again. I would recommend checking this one out. I would recommend picking it up, adding it to your collection. Don't know if you need to get it in 4K, but at least on Blu-ray, I'd say. Worst Thing, definitely pick that one up. And then, because I was still kind of in a Western mood, I went with Young Guns 1 and 2. These movies are kind of funny because they're very, like 1980s, this is from 90 something, right? Yeah, 90, and then, 88. So late 80s, very early 90s sort of feel. I mean, they're a Western, but they have like this like rock music sort of like throughout it at times, which feels kind of weird and out of place, but it's still fun. Again, great story about great, classic Western characters, just, doing what they gotta do. Look at all deputized on the front. I love it. Yeah, there's some bad stuff going on, and our Young Guns here got to put a stop to it. It's a fun Western. I definitely recommend this one. And then I liked Young Guns 2 as well, which I've seen Young Guns multiple times. Young Guns 2 I think I've only ever seen once before, and I kind of forgot what it was about. And it was interesting to see how they went about making like a sequel to the movie with Emilio Estevez, playing the same character but much older and stuff, like an old man, and now it's kind of like it was the 1950s or whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to, it doesn't say what year, but yeah, I think it's like the 1950s or something like that, and he's playing himself but much older. It was a great him telling his stories and whatnot. It was a really, for the most part, a decent follow-up to Young Guns. I would recommend them both. I mean, definitely see Young Guns. It's a great Western, one to check out, but Young Guns 2 is not one to miss either. I would say sit down, watch them both together. The better of the two, but in my opinion, it's still a solid sequel, and definitely one worth checking out. And I guess I got this at one time at GameStop. Remember when GameStop had movies? I miss those days. Anyway, Young Guns and Young Guns 2, great Westerns. Check those out. And there you go. That is it. February reviews are done. So, yeah, March reviews. I know. Now that's the question I'm going to get asked now. Next week, I hope. That's the plan. I'll do some reviews of everything I watched during the month of March for you guys. I do still want to stick with these videos. I want to keep them coming. I want to keep doing like monthly review videos for you guys, because a lot of you guys like watching these. So I will keep them going. Again, reviews, not really my thing. I never actually considered myself a reviewer. I don't think I'm good at reviewing, but I got to give you guys what you want, and you guys want these, and it's just one video a month. I can do that for you guys. So yeah, again, I apologize for being so late with this one. Just last month, March was just, I don't know, it was crazy. I just had a lot of stuff to do, and it got past me. I'll try to keep up on that stuff for you guys. I promise. But all right, guys, that's it. So this weekend is going to be epic. Tomorrow, Friday, well, the day you're watching this video, unless you're a patron, then you're watching it early. But Friday, I am going to the Green Dragon, which you guys have seen me at before. Big farmers market, but they do sell movies there sometimes. Green Dragon is hit or miss. You never know. I've gone there and found amazing deals on movies, and I've gone there and found very, very little, if nothing at all. So you never know, but I'm hoping that guy with the barn of movies is still there, and maybe some people selling stuff out at the flea market type section, and there was like a game store inside that had movies last time I was there, so I'm hoping I do find some good deals. We will see, but either way, it should make for a fun video. So Green Dragon video coming tomorrow. Saturday is opening day of Jake's, so I'm going out to Jake's with Chris on Saturday. Normally we do Jake's on a Sunday, but we're doing Saturday, unless it's cold. If it's like really, really cold and like crappy out and nobody's there, we'll probably stop by, but I don't know how well of a flea market's going to be if it's cold. But hopefully it's a nice day Saturday, and the flea market's hopping. So opening day of Jake's, we'll most likely be there. We'll probably do Pam's that day as well, maybe Cash Converters, I don't know. So a big hunt coming that day. And then on Sunday, we have the Delco Flea Market, which is the reason why we're not doing Jake's on Sunday. Delco Flea Market, which only does like maybe 3 or 4 shows a year, is on Sunday. So we're going to go to that. A lot of the crew's coming out to that as well. So we're going to do a bunch of hunting that day at the flea market. I think we're going to like a game/movie store afterwards as well. Maybe some other places. I don't know. So lots of hunting going that day. So 3 days of epic hunting coming your way. Stay tuned. And I'm going to probably go watch a movie now. So anyway, guys, that's it. Wow, that was a lot of talking. There we go. My voice is back now. So, like I said, I'm going to go watch a movie, guys. So, as always, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Also, if you want to see a brand new video from me every single day, hit that subscribe button and you're going to get one. Also, be sure to check down below for a link to Patreon where you can help support the show. The simple nation, my voice is going dry. Simple nation of $1 a month or more if you like really does help out. Goes a long way. Goes right back into these videos, and it does gain you early access on most of my videos as well. Also, check down below for a link to Spreadshirt, where you can grab yourself many designs of Cinema Sickness t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, hats, buttons, all kinds of really cool Cinema Sickness gear. Again, proceeds help out the show. And as always, most importantly, check down below for a link to the Cinema Sickness Retro Store, where you can pick up all kinds of awesome movies, video games, music, books, retro toys, movie memorabilia, all kinds of cool stuff like that. And proceeds from the store are the most important for the show. They are what keep the show going. So again, guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Although, before I watch any movies, I have the fun task of putting all these movies back first. Yay. Fun stuff.